Do you have those moments, the ones that make you cringe so hard you wish you could rewind time or just even die for it? I bet you have, and I also have. And today, I want to share this story with you because I have already conquered my cringe, and I hope you, especially you who are still bothered by your cringe past, can also do it. It was a music class years ago when the teacher asked some classmates to sing a few lines in front of the class. And I wrote something like, "That person sings really badly," on a piece of paper. And this was terrible, right? And I still criticize myself for it today because it's just too thoughtless and hurtful. And after class, I left that paper on my desk and I went somewhere else. And later, that person approached me with one or two friends, asking me why I wrote that. It was just terrible because I just realized, what did I do? How dare I do that? It's just hurtful and careless. So I ended up apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry to that person. And what happened after was that that person didn't talk to me regarding this problem since then. And it seems like that person has already forgiven me, but I didn't forgive myself. This memory replays in my mind again and again, and it's like a song I can't turn off. It bothered me for a very long period of time. No matter how much I tried to bury it, it just lingered, leaving me embarrassed and restless. So, what should I do? At first, I thought maybe I can just try to not think about it, but I failed. Like I said, it's just repeats in my mind again and again and again. So the next thing I did was that I tried to forget about it, remove it from my memory, pretending it didn't happen at all. So did I fail this time? Well, there's a psychological theory called the ironic process theory, and I'll give you an easy example. Now I say, don't think of a pink elephant. And what you do is that you heard I say no, so you may control your mind not to think about it, but what you actually do is that you immediately picture one in your mind. So this is the ironic process theory. When you try to control your mind, the outcome is sometimes the opposite. So the answer is for sure. I tried to erase it from my memory, but I failed. And in fact, the harder I fought the memory, the more power it seems to have over me. And after these attempts, things were getting worse. So I began asking myself, why is this one stupid moment so unforgettable? And how can I get rid of it? How can I stop myself being so suffering? And after another long period of time, I finally have some idea. I realized that it was not only the memory itself that was bothering me. It was the shame I felt about who I was back then. What I couldn't forgive for is being that version of me. And actually, this is another psychological theory, and it is called the self-discrepancy theory. To briefly summarize, it is when you feel uncomfortable when the expectations for you don't align with what you actually do. In this case, I know I shouldn't write that paper back then, but actually I did it, so I feel very bad. Thanks to this theory, I now know my reason. So how can I put an end to my pain? And fortunately, during this suffering time, I have came up with a solution, and it works quite well for me. So I summarize it into 3 steps so that all of you can follow it. Step 1, accept. Stop running from your memory. Accept that that cringe version of you is still you. And because it is you who did that, you know it, so you cannot deny, and erasing it from memory, of course, won't work. So instead of erasing it, what I did was that I tried to reframe it, not as a failure anymore, but as a stepping stone. And studies on cognitive restructuring actually back this up. Like, changing the way you interpret the memory can actually help you let go of its emotional weight. So what I told myself was, yeah, it was embarrassing. So what? So what? It is just a mistake, right? And everyone has moments like that. So it is nothing big. It is just normal. Everyone makes mistakes. Everything has its two sides, positive and negative, and it's exactly the same for these cringe moments or better mistakes. So I stopped thinking it from the negative way. Instead, I look at it in the positive way. So I turn my thoughts. And after I do that, those cringe moments don't seem that unbearable anymore. In fact, they become reminders that I've grown. They just remind me how much I've grown. So don't be cringe about your past self, because it's like, if you feel cringe about your past, it means you've just evolved. You're now a better person. And then comes the second step. After you acknowledge it, then you can try to find the lesson. The lesson is the only meaningful thing in that old and bad memory. So try to find the lesson. Don't fixate on that memory. Ask yourself, what did this teach me? Because mistakes are just lessons in disguise. Try to find this lesson, and so that you won't do anything like that in the future. And after I found the lesson, I'm not bothered by that piece of paper anymore, because I know what will I do in the future. I won't do this anymore in the future. So then there's the final step. Now you have your lesson, then you can just let memory go as far as possible. Don't let it bother you anymore. If you still find it a little bit hard, here's the tip. Picture it like a leaf floating down the stream. Acknowledge it and let it drift away. And this is kind of similar to mindfulness meditation, where you observe your thoughts without clinging to it. Now I'm not bothered by it anymore, because they're just memories, neither good nor bad, just part of my journey. If they resurface, I just let them float by without holding on it. What matters isn't the memory itself, but the lessons you carried with you. So you cannot rewrite your past, but what you can do is to shape your future. Every mistakes, every missteps, they are proof that you are trying, you are learning, and you are growing. The next time an old memory pops up and makes you feel cringe, don't see it as a failure. See it as a sign of progress.